I'm going to hit him with who's a better duo, Steph and KD or AD LeBron?
Oh, he's definitely going to duck action on that one.
Everybody wanna love you till they lose control. Then they look at me and say I'm on a roll. Cause I don't stop, don't stop, don't stop.
What's up, everybody? You know how we do it around here. It's the Cruise Control Podcast. I'm George Niang down here in the NBA's Orlando bubble. And this is my co-host, Crew Ainge. What up, Crew? Where you at with it?
What's up, man? I'm back in Boston. I'm ready to hear the updates on what's going on inside the bubble. Been dying to get on this pod.
Man, you know, the highlight of the bubble is really Lou Williams right about now, just trying to go to a gentleman's club to get some nice dinner.
Hey, the man was just getting some dinner.
He got whacked with 10 days, man. It stinks because, you know, when you're up in the bubble and, you know, you having it, I don't know what the excuse was for him to leave, but I'm sure it was family oriented.
A family member passed away, I believe.
Yeah, and, you know, when you're out in the real world, I mean, you're tempted to do real world stuff. I mean, can you knock him for that? Like, being 100% honest.
Well, the real issue is Jack Harlow putting him on blast on the gram.
That's tough.
And then claiming it's an old picture when the dude's wearing a mask he got in the bubble.
Yeah, that one, it's tough on him out here. It's tough on him out here. Man, I didn't know what to think of that, but hopefully he comes back. Hopefully he doesn't lose any money. Lou's a solid dude, man, and it just stinks when you make mistakes and it's just glorified. You know what I'm saying? When you shank one in the woods while we're golfing, like the whole world doesn't get to see it, only just the foursome that we're with.
I never shank him in the woods.
Oh, that was me. My bad.
I played in a golf tournament yesterday, and I shot a cool 97.
Really?
Yeah, not good.
How many good old mulligans did you get?
0 mulligans, tournament style, and I was exposed. It was bad.
You know what I want to ask someone, because I'm not good at golf, as you know, is like, have you ever golfed with the same golf ball for more than one round of golf?
Of course. Well, I guess when you're that good, you want to switch them up. But yeah.
You're lying. You haven't done that.
Of course I have, first off. Probably 9 holes. But I'm saying, what do you like somebody who's good at golf? They do that often. I'm not good at golf.
All I know is Crew's trying to say this, but literally his drive literally goes from one side of the course to the other. He has the craziest slice. Antonio McSlicing.
But if I keep it in play, I'm good. I'm parring.
Yeah, you're solid. You're a solid golfer. Let's talk a little bit about the guest we got on today, my homeboy, Quinn Cook. We were down grinding it out in the G League together in Santa Cruz. And from there on out, since I was his teammate, he just like took off, and you know his NBA career he started winning championships. Now he has something with KD. Is it In the Water? That series on PG County.
Yeah,
he's got a lot going on for himself.
I'm excited to talk to him. The dude's never not been in the spotlight in his whole life, it seems like. Besides a couple years in the G League, I mean, he was at Oak Hill, won a national championship at Duke, Warriors. Now he's on the Lakers. It's wild.
Man, he just can't stay out of the limelight, huh?
Some dudes are built for it.
Hollywood QC. Well, without further ado, welcome Quinn Cook. Here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Quinn Cook. Man, welcome to the Cruise Control Podcast. What's poppin'?
What's poppin', bro? You know, trying to stay safe, trying to stay in my room. You know what I'm saying? Chill. How you?
I'm great, man. I'm down here on the 4th floor. What's that, 17th? You on up there?
Oh, we on 12. We on 12. We on 12.
Hey, man, appreciate you coming on. You know, we just like to keep it real on here. Well, I was just talking with Crew before you got on here. Dude, you've been in the limelight literally your whole life. We were just thinking about that. Like DC Assault, you've been like top 50, top 25, top 10 since what? Freshman, sophomore year. Then Oak Hill, then Duke.
Yeah.
Then you was dropping 60 balls in the G League. Then you're on the Warriors dynasty, and now you're a part of a Lakers team that has a lot of attention. Just how do you handle all that, you know, outside noise, but still stick to your goals and keep it moving forward?
Now, you know, obviously we're competitors. So growing up, I was always the smallest guy, bro. So like, I never really got the love. I never really was picked and stuff like that. And as you know, like KD, Nolan, all those guys who I looked up to, they was like, you know, just basically it gave me confidence all the time. So like if I didn't get picked, when they got to the court, they would make sure, you know, I got picked. So like everybody would come see them play, and they would end up seeing me play. So from that age, I always like playing in front of big crowds and stuff like that, and obviously going to DeMatha. We was everybody's biggest game and then Oak Hill. So I kind of got used to being under the lights, playing for the best team and stuff like that. You know, when I got to the D League, like I had to kind of start over, but I still had that, like, he went to Duke, like we know who he is, so we still can go at him, even though, like, you know how it is, G, like when the players come down, like everybody in the D League, like, oh, I'm a bust, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna do that. Oh, I always had that target on my back because he went to Duke, he's an Uncle Tom, stuff like that. So, you know, I was always just, you know, ready for whatever, and that started as a young age. So obviously now being, you know, with the Lakers and playing with the Warriors, I just always was part of a team or part of something that, you know, everybody wanted to be.
Do you think the Lakers and the Warriors, when they're filling out their roster, they see that in you? They know that this dude's built for the bright lights, and he went to Duke. He's got that in him.
I think that's a big reason why you know, I end up coming here. I know it's the reason why Golden State brought me to Golden State. Just a winning pedigree. A lot of times, players coming from the G League or players who are undrafted, they're kind of really just trying to fill, you know, the 12th to 15th spot. So, you know, you look for good locker room guys who, you know, won't trip about playing, you know, not playing 6 games, but, you know, in that 7th game can play 12 minutes, stuff like that. Great locker room guys. So I just think the fact that, you know, I had a reputation of being a great locker room guy and I always won. I always drew, you know, teams' interest. And then obviously when I got an opportunity, I always performed well. So that added to it. But just trying to get in the league, you know, I always had the advantage over others because, you know, I won a lot.
And people don't even understand it. You grinded it out for 2 years in the G League. Granted, you had a couple 10 days, a couple things, as people would say, you know, didn't go your way. And in that year where I think it was before we were together in Santa Cruz, you're on Atlanta's team. You're about to make it, you know, to their final roster. And I mean, I don't want to tell the story because I can't tell it as good, but people don't realize that you have like one moment, you know, to really make it. And you felt like this is like your moment and you're about to have it. And then just tell the story from your perspective, because I don't think a lot of people know really what you had to go through, because people are like, well, why would he go overseas? Why would he do a 3rd year in the G League? But
I was just about to ask that. I was going to say, why'd you do the 3rd year in the G League? Because most dudes will go get more money overseas.
Yeah. Great question. I mean, G, you know, we both know each other's, you know, lowest points and high points. That specific story for me, my first year out, you know, I didn't get drafted, played extremely well in summer league, played preseason with the Cavs, was a game away from making the team. They took Jared Cunningham. He was like a 5-year NBA player at that time. They took him, and I played well in preseason. So, you know, I'm just like, I feel like I'm an NBA player. Might as well just, you know, stay in the States. So stay in the States, man, and I was killing my rookie year, but I never got caught up. So I'm new to the business. My mom's new to the business. So she has people in her ear. Oh, your agent's not working for you, this and that. People telling me my agent's not working for me, stuff like that. So I blame it on my agent. Like, man, I'm killing. How I get caught up? You know what I'm saying? Like, not knowing. It's so much other stuff that goes into it. Fire my agent, get with a new agent. I couldn't even get on the summer league team. And like, that's like the easiest thing. Like, everybody has played summer league. So my first year out, Georgia's rookie year, I was on the D League select team. Like, a lot of people don't remember that. Like, I was on the D League select team.
Oh, shit.
And I didn't play. I started the first game because the coach who coached us, his point guard wasn't there yet. He gets there the next day. I don't play at all till the last game of summer league. Last game of summer league, like, I don't play at all. Like, I don't play the whole time. Last game of summer league, like, me and my boy Javante Reddick, Buddy Hill, we out till like 5 a.m. Like Vegas. You know what I'm saying? You know, Vegas summer league. We out till 5. We got a noon game. We get to the arena, coach like, well, Tu Holloway just signed a contract overseas. I think his name was Fields, signed a contract overseas. Like, 3 people of the guards signed contracts. So, like, we had to play. We played New Orleans, and I played, like, really well. And I ain't get no training camp offers, man. I get to the last day before preseason. A guy that got invited to New Orleans, he got hurt, like in a pickup game or something. So they invited me to training camp. And I got the training camp where I was killing. I scored 20 against Houston. And I was in consideration of making the team. Man, they took Lance Stevenson, and I went back to the G. I got called up a couple times. But when I got caught up with New Orleans, I had, you know, like 5-6 games at the end of the season when we got eliminated. Coach Gentry was like, you and Drew, the only guards we got left that's healthy. You go hoop. And I was killing. And New Orleans, and I was with them all summer. I went to summer league with them. I averaged like 25 in summer league. and then they signed Rondo, and then they signed Darius Miller, and then they let me go. So now I'm like, all right, I don't know what I'm gonna do now.
You just feel like dang, like all the cards are just stacked up again. Once again, here we go.
Once again, here we go. And you know how it is, G. Like when you trying to get back in, it's like, man, you trying to look at any potential team that makes sense. So, and then at that time, if you remember, Kyrie asked for it to be traded. So all the teams is like, well, we might not get him, but we got to make a push. So like a lot of the guys who wasn't signed, we waiting like to see what Kyrie going to do. Kyrie ends up getting traded, and man, it's crazy. Like I obviously have a good relationship with Grant Hill.
You can blame Crew for his dad making that so long.
Should have never happened.
Yeah, man, I got on with Atlanta. They gave me a partial guarantee, and I'm like, all right, this is it. Man, I got to Atlanta. I'm playing pickup and stuff, and I'm like one of the best guys there. Like, I'm killing, but I never got an opportunity in preseason. My agent's like, you're good. You're 90% good. The GM over there is like, yo, you should start looking for a crib and stuff. You should go out the hotel. I'm like, bro, I've been on too many 10-day contracts. I've been on too many non-guarantees. I'm staying in this hotel until y'all cut me or until I sign. I'm not moving. They like, nah, you good. So I call my agent. I'm like, yo, am I good? Like, am I going to make this team? My agent's like, you good. Like, 99.9% you're going to make the team. So, G, you know me. I'm in Atlanta. All right, cool. I go find a crib. Man, I remember, dog. I played extended minutes, maybe 2 out of the 6 games. But our last game, I ain't play. We had an off day. I just moved into my crib. We had an off day. I came in the day before my contract was guaranteed. Literally just moved to my crib, got my TV mounted, put my feet up, put my favorite movie, 5 Heartbeats on, and my phone rang. It was my agent. I already knew what it was. They said they made a trade. They had to cut me. Yeah, so that was a night, like, I was like, I'm done. Like I said, because I've been in the G League 2 years, bro. Like, I done scored all the points. I done got called up, stuff like that. I'm cool. Like, I called KD. I called my mom, and I called Nolan Smith, my god brother. And Nolan was like, man, you emotional. Just sleep on it. You know what I'm saying? Sleep on it, and I'll call you in the morning. So I go to sleep early. Like, I'm sick. I go to sleep early, wake up. I got like 5 missed calls from Steve Kerr. And then that night I was on a flight to Golden State. So, like, no disrespect to Atlanta, but they end up being the worst team in the league that year. So I got cut by the worst team. I signed to the best team. And G, you remember that? You remember?
Yo, funniest thing. So I had just gotten cut from the Pacers. So you know when you have like, you're just like super salty about what's going on. So when the season started, like the Pacers would be playing, I'd be like rooting for the other team. Quinn would be like, why are you rooting for the other team? And I'm like, they cut me, man. I can't root for them. He's like, oh, I'm doing the same thing for Atlanta.
Same thing, bro. Yeah. So, nah, man, it's crazy how everything ends up working. But sometimes, man, mentally, like, it's tough. It's tough, especially like when you know you belong, you know you deserve, a fair shot. But it always, comes back together, man. So that was a fun time for me.
Did you buy the house in Atlanta, or did you rent it?
I rented it, but I kept it for a while. I just got out of it because I love it, though. But
it worked out.
I couldn't have told the story better than he did. I've heard it before, but it's crazy, that you've never given up and you've persevered at every level. I think you're one of the only dudes to win a national championship and, be a part of a championship team in the NBA. I mean, that's real impressive. And now you got another chance at it down here in the bubble. I know you've played 2 games. What are your thoughts on, like, what's going on? Because at first I'm like, this feels like glorified practice. Like, nobody's there. It's blacked out in the stands. Like, it doesn't even feel like the hype of the game.
You know what it reminds me of, G? It reminds me of the D-League showcase a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the type of vibes I was getting. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the kind of like NBA personnel there. Obviously, like, no GMs and scouts. That's what kind of elevates the G-League showcase. That's what it kind of reminds me of. Like, just really all business. You hear everything that's being said, coverages, coaches. You hear everything. And I'm not even, like, used to, like, hearing, like, the music that's being played and all the antics that the NBA is trying to do to, like, make it as real as possible because guys is really locked in. It's definitely a different feel because you don't got the fans talking and bringing you energy. So, like you say, it is like a glorified pickup game so far.
I heard JJ said it feels like a movie set, and it doesn't feel like you're actually in a basketball arena. I was thinking that guys were going to shoot worse because the depth perception and all that, but does it feel like that or no?
Nah, I mean, if it was regular, like I said, I think guys are, like, shoot better, like, from the free throw line. I think guys will shoot just more free. because obviously there's no only thing you're really going against is the people on the bench that's like really talking to you. Other than that, like I think guys is just like you know how it is. You got guys in the summer who kill and pick up, and guys in practice kill because they just playing, they hooping and not thinking. But when you in that game, that real game, when the lights on, crowds going crazy, the sound system is through the roof, like guys kind of fold a little bit. So I'm interested to see like the guys who like really shoot like 30% start shooting 45, and you know what I'm saying? Like the bad free throw shooters start shooting well because it's really like you're really just out there hooping.
Like Quinn, like think about that big shot you hit against Toronto, right? That three right by their bench. Now fast forward to now. You take that shot with like not as much pressure. You're not as tight because like there's no like defense. There's none of that. There's no pressure. It's like I'm just shooting another shot.
I don't know. Moments ain't gonna be the same. Like obviously, I mean, it's a historic time, but like you said, moments like that, like guys are just shooting free, bro. Like it's just shooting free. Obviously, it's game pressure. Obviously, when they get to the offs, like it's game 5, game 6, but like still the crowd just brings a total different dynamic to the game. So I think teams will suffer from that. Teams who you might be higher seeds, like I think the matchups will be more even because there's really no home court.
I'm excited to see the guys who kind of never reached their potential or they had anxiety for the games, the big fans, the big moments, but they always killed in practice, like you were saying. Yeah. I think that's a big dynamic to all this.
It adds a lot, bro. I mean, I would truly believe we're going to see some guys who like, damn, like where this been at? You know what I'm saying? Because dudes is just out there hooping, dog. Like, so it's crazy. Bro.
I wish there was a bubble in college, man. I was always a bust when there was fans there, bro. I choked. I'm a practice player only.
Hey, them practice All-Americans, man, they used to get me real upset in practice. Like, why don't you do this when the lights are on?
But I used to tell my dad, I was like, I could not miss. I was pulling up from everywhere. I could not miss. He goes, you should put your scout team jersey underneath your game jersey so you keep that feeling.
G gonna let you know the truth, boy, especially in practice.
We have a couple good stories. Being down in the G League, I kind of had like a chip on my shoulder, like everything used to aggravate me. I didn't think anybody was good. Quinn would be like, hey, what do you think about this guy? Nah, he's trash. He'd be like, come on, G, really? Like he scored like 30 in an NBA. He's trash. I'm like, nah, he stinks. Like he's no good. Yeah. And I just think it's funny as I used to snap all the time when I was down there because you just have this chip on your shoulder like, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. But I mean, Quinn, as you can attest, like you just got to embrace that journey, embrace every obstacle that comes your way. And I mean, great things seem to come from it. I mean, you even go back as far as Duke. No offense to Coach K, but I mean, he's recruiting a 5-star guy every single year, and you just seem to make it work. Like nobody would have thought that you and Tyus would have been able to work and win a national championship. You do that. Then you come in, you play a huge role in the Warriors championship run, and now you're playing a big role with Rondo out for the Lakers, and it's just impressive to see.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been lucky to play with some great dudes, great coaches, great teammates. So try to just, my thing, man, like I always feel like I'm talented. I always feel like I could hold my own in court, but that team aspect part, the being coachable, that's something I always kind of hung my hat on. So like you said, like guys didn't think that me and Tyus could work. That kind of brought us together. I remember media and people, just fans just saying there's no way, Quinn, you're not playing next year. We got the best point guard coming in. Y'all just lost in the first round. And, an insecure person, like, they will feel kind of feared by Tyus. And I think Tyus being so humble, it just made us, very, very close. And if you remember, G, like Shabazz and Kimba had just won it. Shabazz and Boatwright had Russ Smith and Payne Seaver just won it. You know what I'm saying? So my mom, like, I think you need 2 point guards to win a championship. Let's do it. So, yeah, man, just try to be as good a teammate as possible. And it's tough, man, because I remember Santa Cruz, like, you know how it is, like, especially when you've been in the league. Like, me and you, G, we had, like, a different perspective. Obviously, we knew we should have been there, but, like, we were just there. Like, we had a taste of how special it is to be in the NBA. So it's like we kind of aggravated with everything because, like, we just so, like, dialed and locked in to getting to where we belong. But, like, we made that year so much easier for each other because we both was going through the same struggle. So it was crazy. I mean, that was one of my best years.
That was so much fun. I tell people when I try to compare the G League and the NBA, especially after you've been there, because when I first got to the Jazz, locker room nice, shower, got 2 shower heads, and I'm like, why do you have 2 shower heads in there? Like, I will never shower. That's wasting water, right? Then one day after practice, I'm like, I'm turning on that other shower head, man. Felt so good. And now I will never take a shower without 2 shower heads on because it feels so good. That's why I tell people, it's like, the NBA is the 2 shower heads. You don't want to go back to showering on 1 shower head. You know what I mean?
You don't. Man, I remember we used to have them early flights, bro. Well, first, we had a 45-minute drive to the airport.
Every time from Santa Cruz.
And, you know, like the budget isn't as high, so we got to take the earliest flights. Then all the big guys, they rush through security so they can get to the line and make sure they get the extra row seats. So, you know me, I'm chilling, bro. I'm 6'1". I ain't tripping off the extra seat. I always get stuck in the middle. So, like, you go from a middle seat to, like, you know, we got our own planes. We got food on there. When you go on the road in G, you got roommates. You know what I'm saying? Courtyard Marriott. If we had a Courtyard Marriott, we living good. That's it.
Yeah. It's a La Quinta, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's 2 different worlds, dog.
Hey, but what about the difference on the court? You're talking about like the lifestyle for the G League to the NBA, but what about when you're shooting a 3 in Santa Cruz and you know you're the man to now when you got Steph, KD, Clay on the court? How much harder is that for you? Are you thinking or are you just playing your part, you're shooting when you're open? Because for some dudes, that's hard to kind of find that balance when you're playing with such great players.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. Like, me playing in Santa Cruz kind of helped that because my first 2 years when I was with the Cavs D-League team, we had a good team, but, like, I was always the guy. And like, I felt like I thought I got to score the most points. I got to put up the most numbers to get out of here. And I got out of there because I was obviously, like, one of the better players, but I didn't like how I was playing because it was a different transition when I got to the league. So when I got to Santa Cruz, we had so many great players. It was like, all right, Quinn, you had the ball in your hands, but I want you to play Aaron Miles. He told me, I want you to play how you would play when you were up there. So obviously, like, we know you can score 30, you can score 40, but I want to see you and G work the pick and roll together. I want to see you get Damian Jones touches. I want to see you, you know what I'm saying? For me, like, obviously I averaged a lot of points, but, like, that was the most efficient year, you know, of my basketball career because I had so many great guys around me, and I was just, all right, George is cutting nets, Andre Iguodala, you know, cutting to the basket. That's because I kept, like, going back up and forth. So
Yeah.
it was a good year for me. And, like, another thing is, like, when I just came in and started scoring, like, I was in rhythm because I was playing so much down in the G League. So it's like a lot of times we in the league and you only in the NBA, you're not going back down and forth. It's hard to practice and then play pickup every single day if you're not in a rotation. But if you're in the G League, like, you playing 40 minutes, so you getting those game reps. So, like, when you get subbed in a game up top, you kind of in some rhythm instead of sitting 6 games and then getting thrown in the fire and it's just like, damn, like, I ain't hooping 2 weeks. So
For sure.
Yeah, it's the playing through mistakes that is the easy part in the G League because you know you're not going to get yanked. I don't care who you are. If you're not a superstar up in the NBA level, you make a mistake, it's in your head. You're like, man, am I about to get yanked right now? I mean, if I have another one of these, I better make the next shot. And the craziest part is what I tell people is when you first get into games, it could be literally be a hockey assist. You could swing, your team makes a shot. You might have thought you just hit the game-winning 3. You're like, you see that out there? Like that one extra one, like that was me. That was me. And nothing that you do shows up on the stat sheet, but that's how you feel when you're up there. I know you can attest to that.
Nah, for sure. Especially when you a younger player and you still trying to find your way into the league, and you know all those little things matter. Like if you turn it over or if you throw it and your big drops it, it's like, dang, that's one strike right there. You know? I better not miss my next shot. If I miss my next shot or don't get backdoor, don't blow a defense assignment, it's just the only thing you're thinking about. So, I mean, it's really mental, man. Like, that's why it's good to have friends like G and Damian Lee and guys who, you know, play that same role, that same position as you to call and vent. You know, how was your game? I saw you only play 4 minutes. Like, you all right? Because obviously the league is like, it's just a roller coaster, dog. Like, it's 82 games. And for me, like, I always try to beat myself up. If I go 0 for 2 in 6 minutes, like, I'm sick. Like, I'm not talking to nobody, none of that stuff. But it's so many games, man. And guys like us, like, we might get 2 shots every 3 games, or we might get 10 shots in 1 game. So it's just an up and down roller coaster, man. That's why you got to have guys that's going through it with you.
No, 100%. You got to, and the basketball fraternity is a huge fraternity, and I know, you grew up in PG County. You have a ton of people that you're close to that have really influenced, this game today and here in this age, and a bunch of teammates that you played with, rapper friends. I mean, shoot, you've gotten confused for J. Cole in the past. Man, I don't know what else can come along with it. But I want you to talk a little bit about, you've played for two historically great coaches. I mean, Coach K, I'm going to put you on the spot later on if you can actually spell out his name.
I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm gonna fail that.
And Steve Kerr, man, what is the difference in styles, and what are some things that you can take from each one of them? Because not too many people get to say that they played for a legendary coach in college, but then you're playing for one of the best to do it at the NBA level.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of similarities with the two. Obviously, they played the game at a high level, so they have that pedigree. They can relate with the players. Coach K, obviously, he's had more years coaching, so just his stories, man, is of this guy, getting better. This guy facing adversity. I think both are extreme motivators. The way they prepare is unreal. I know, Coach. Our preparation, in college, like with the preparation I was getting at 18 years old, for an opponent, it's something that I would ask my homies, or I ask my other McDonald's All-American friends or whatever. They'd be like, man, we watch 10 minutes of film and that's it. I know, man, Duke, we watch an hour, like we getting it in, like we gonna know every player, every stat, every play, everything. And that's how it is with Steve. I mean, obviously so many games, 82 games, we're not gonna prepare. We're not gonna spend an hour, for the game 49, but playoffs come, man, like those hour and a half, 2 hour preparation meetings every single day, it always came to effect. Might not come into effect game 1, game 2, but game 5, game 6, all that preparation paid off. So preparation for me is always one thing that reminds me of Steve Kerr and Coach. And they're winners. They're winners. Obviously, Coach changed the program around, winning 5. And obviously, Steve, he's won his entire life. Obviously, 5 with, as a player. And then, does he have 5 as a player? Yeah, I think he has 5 as a player.
He got rings.
His NBA stories are incredible. And some of the stories that he was telling in Michael Jordan documentary, Last Dance, he used to tell us on an everyday basis. And he knew, how much scrutiny that the Warriors had to go through, every little mistake that we made, anything. If Klay didn't pass the ball to Steph, the media next day, all Steph and Klay are beefing. And Draymond and KD got to it. They talked about that for 2 months. So obviously we had to deal with that. And Steve, was with Michael Jordan, at the prime, the height of his, he used to always give us stories to remind us that, it's not easy. But, those guys, man, they cared about us more, off the court than on. And as a professional, and even at a high level like Duke, you would just think that, they only care about, their production on the floor. But, I could really say they made it fun to come to work every day, man. And those guys still coach me to this day.
What about, obviously you've played it with some stars. What are like the differences between like the Steph, Klay, and KD compared to, the LeBron and AD dynamic?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, both. I mean, all of the cliche, they work hard, all that stuff. I just think their personalities are different. And how their personalities are, that's how they lead, that's how they play. A lot of the similarities is just the time they like really put into their craft, dog. Like the hours that you see, like even not if it's on the floor, like those dudes watch a lot of film. Those dudes are obsessed with the game, and they're always finding ways to get better. Like a guy like Steph Curry, you don't think he could get better at shooting. You play with him, he still finds ways in practice to challenge himself. All those guys, like they go game speed. That's something that I learned when I work out. Like I'm working out to get a sweat. I'm trying to, get a good rhythm. But those guys showed me like, go game speed, every rep, every possession. I saw my percentages go up in games when I started to do that. And I learned that from those superstars. And man, they just have relationships with all the players on the team. You know how big that is. Have a relationship with the superstar on the team, that means a lot. Those guys are winners, man. And it's something that I can tell my grandkids about. I got to play with, 5, 6 of the best players that I play. I learned a lot from them.
Who are you taking? LeBron and AD or KD and Steph?
That's tough.
Man, that's tough. Can I take both? My goodness.
Sheesh. I mean, because they're all different positions, right? Like who had LeBron? LeBron matched up with Steph and AD on AD. Like it's tough. I can't pick.
George said you weren't going to answer that.
I thought he was for sure gonna take. I mean, him and K go way back, so I was almost sold the Steph and KD one. But
You really can't pick. You really can't.
Nah,
It's impossible.
hey, Quinn. Well, we appreciate you coming on the Cruise Control podcast and keeping it 100. One of my good men over there, lacing them up for the Los Angeles Lakers. Hey, man, if when we play each other and there's a switch, man, just settle for like 2-3 dribbles before you shoot against me. I don't need to try to guard 10.
bro, you know all my moves, bro. I gotta just swing the ball. You know, to me.
Get out of here, man.
Get me to the NBA, bro. You made me look so good in Santa Cruz, bro. I just want to say thank you, man. Let me just say, can I just say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Me and G, we was the best 1-2 combo in the league. Then he gets called, bro. We was like 15-2. He gets called up, bro. We lost like 10 of our next 12. I was shooting like 30% from the field. And G just left me on the island, man. He wanted to go make some millions, bro. He just left me down there. So I'm still mad at him about that a little bit. Even though he's living his dream, still a little ticked.
I'm glad you could understand. I mean, I still don't have a ring like you, but once I get one of those, we'll be on an even playing field then.
Hey, can we get a Coach K spelling before you leave?
Just try for us, bro.
COACH space K.
I was like, that's not even close.
I heard CK. I was like, oh my gosh.
I don't even want to butcher my good man's name.
Oh,
Yeah, I
man,
don't
that's
blame
funny,
you.
man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all, man. It's dope, man. I appreciate it for sure.
Hey, no, thanks for coming on, bro. We appreciate you.
He just let me know when you want to get dinner or something. You know, we living in the same neighborhood now.
Listen, my elevator doesn't get up to the penthouse floor, so just let me know when you give me the access code up there.
Wow, man. I appreciate y'all, bro.
All right, brother.
Thank you. That's crazy when he was talking about all the mistakes you're making in your head when your big man drops a pass. It's so refreshing to hear NBA players talk like that because that's the same stuff I was doing. I was like going to the game, counting my team's plus minus. Like if I go in, I don't do anything, but we're up 6. When I came in, we were tied. I'm like high fives all around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, for sure.
It's so hard to play like that.
It almost becomes a thing where you seriously have to be good at not giving a shit, but actually giving a shit. And that's the toughest part. But once you get there, it's like second nature where I can only control what I'm doing. Like it's not a big deal. I just got to continue to control. But to get there, bro, it's really a struggle. And Quinn was, someone that I could talk to because he had been through so many ups and downs. I mean, you heard his story about Atlanta, like moving into your house and then them calling you and being like, hey, we're letting you go. And then you travel all the way across the country to San Francisco, and then that ends up being the best thing that happened to you. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's nuts. That was a good interview. Quinn's the man.
Yeah, no, he's a great dude. One of my good friends, and not only in the NBA but in life, man. He's a great human, man. Great dude.
All right, well, let's wrap it up, and that's it for today's Cruise Control podcast. We'll see you guys next episode.